Hello and a very warm welcome. I am Gushin Galan and you're watching Firstpost. In the next few minutes, I get you the top 50 updates from around the world, only here on Fast and Factual. Let's get started. We begin in the United States. President-elect Donald Trump has refused to rule out using military or economic action to acquire the Panama Canal and the Greenland. Trump said that both of them were vital for America's national security. He also reiterated his call for Canada to merge with the US. Canada, Denmark and Panama also reacted to the explosive comments by President-elect Trump. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said there was not a chance that Canada will merge with the US. Even Danish Prime Minister Frederiksen reacted saying Greenland belonged to the Greenlanders and that it was not for sale. Meanwhile, Panama's president said that the sovereignty of country's canal was non-negotiable. President-elect Trump is not backing down and has even vowed to change the name of Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. He said the region covers a lot of territory. The president-elect even reiterated his stance to impose significant tariffs on Mexico and Canada. He also stated that Mexico has to stop allowing millions of people to enter the US. In East Africa, a US airstrike killed at least 10 Al-Shabaab terrorists in southern Somalia on Tuesday. The Al-Qaeda-Linked group has been conducting an insurgency against Somalian government for over 17 years. The raid took place in Beer Xaani near the port city of Kismayo and was conducted on the request of the Somalian government. The strike follows an attack by the Islamic State groups in the country's north. In Europe, Ukraine said on Tuesday that its forces struck a Russian military command post in Kursk region. The Ukrainian military targeted the Russian military site while conducting combat operations during its fresh offensive in the border area. Ukrainian army said it had launched a high-precision strike near the village of Belaya using long-range weapons supplied by the West. In West Asia, Israeli army said it killed 3 Palestinian fighters in separate counter-terrorism raids in the north of West Bank. 2 militants were killed when Israeli forces struck a quote-unquote an armed terrorist cell that opened fire at Israeli forces who were conducting a raid in the Nablus city. And another was killed as a result of shelling. The IDF also confiscated weapons and apprehended wanted Palestinians. Syria's Foreign Minister Asad al-Shabani said the authorities will be constituting a committee to prepare for National Dialogue Conference. The committee will be formed with the aim to discuss the future of the country. Shabani said they will also form an expanded preparation committee which will include men and women from all segments of Syrian society and provinces. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said there is no place for terrorist organizations in Syria under the new leadership. The statement was issued as a warning to the Kurdish forces present in the country. Erdogan said this during a meeting in a capital Ankara on Tuesday with the Prime Minister of Iraq Kurdish region, Masoud Barzani. Erdogan told him that Turkey was working to prevent any new instability in the region after the ouster of Bashar al-Assad. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has announced the arrest of 7 mercenaries, including 2 Americans. He added that the group also included 2 Colombians and 3 Ukrainians. Maduro said that they had plans to carry out terrorist actions against the peace of Venezuela. The Venezuelan president had previously made frequent wild claims of US-led plots to depose him. He is again set to take office as the president for a 3rd term on January 10th. Venezuelan opposition leader Edmundo Gonzalez condemned on Tuesday the detention of his son-in-law. He said his son-in-law, Rafael Tudares, was kidnapped by hooded men. This comes a day after the Venezuelan government criticized his meeting with US President Joe Biden. Gonzalez has been recognized as Venezuela's president-elect by United States and several other nations. However, Maduro was declared winner shortly after the July 28th presidential vote. In the Korean Peninsula, South Korean investigators have secured a new arrest warrant against impeached President Yoon. This after he skipped questioning thrice over the martial law that was briefly imposed by him across the country. Yoon's residence has been shielded with barbed wire and vehicle blockades. Investigators say they are currently unsure of his whereabouts. Yoon faces charges of treason and insurrection. South Korea's Transport Minister Park Sang-woo said on Tuesday that he intended to resign after the deadly crash of a Boeing jet operated by Jeju Air on December 29th. He also claimed the responsibility for the tragic incident. The plane that departed from the Thai capital of Bangkok landed on its belly in South Korea's Muan and exploded into flames, killing 179 people on board. In South Asia, the Indian Space Research Organisation or ISRO has appointed Dr. V. Narayanan as its next chairman. He will be succeeding S. Somnath on January 14th. Narayanan currently serves as the director of ISRO's Liquid Propulsion Systems Center. He is equipped with nearly 4 decades of experience in space research, specializing in rocket and spacecraft propulsion. Continuing with India, at least 9 miners were trapped in a flooded coal mine in the Indian state of Assam. Rescue teams have recovered at least 1 body, while others continue to remain trapped. The incident occurred on Monday after water from a nearby unused mine surged into the site, leaving workers stranded 300 feet underground. Rescue operations are underway with the deployment of army and disaster management teams. North of India, the death toll has risen to at least 126 after a powerful earthquake of magnitude 7.1 hit the Tibet region near the Nepalese border on Tuesday. At least 188 others also sustained injuries. Over 3,600 houses have reportedly collapsed and over 30,000 residents have been relocated. Rescue operations are still underway to find the survivors. At least 12,000 officials, including firefighters, soldiers, policemen and rescuers, have been deployed. In climate news, frigid air from the Arctic plunged deep into the US, triggering sub-zero temperatures across the eastern half of the country. Experts attribute the cold snap to the polar vortex. It is a weather pattern increasingly influenced by climate change. Meteorologists predict prolonged below-average temperatures across affected regions. A wildfire scorched nearly 3,000 acres of land in the suburbs of Los Angeles in the US state of California. This prompted authorities to put over 30,000 people under evacuation orders. Huge billows of smoke could be seen rising from the fire-struck region from far away. Los Angeles has declared a state of emergency over the situation. According to a German think tank, Germany's greenhouse gas emissions fell by 3% in 2024, hence marking a slowdown from the 10% drop seen in 2023. While emissions reached a historic low of 656 million tons, sectors like transport and construction lagged behind in progress. The report also highlighted the stalled investments in green technologies. Southwest England's Tewkesbury Abbey is engulfed in flood water after days of heavy rainfall. Over 150 flood warnings still remain in place across the UK. The situation is getting exacerbated by the melting snow. The Met Office forecasts further disruptions as severe weather grips the nation. Canals play a pivotal role in the UK's climate resilience. This is according to a report by the Canal and River Trust. The charity highlighted their importance in boosting biodiversity, reducing urban heat and acting as natural drainage systems during heavy rainfall. Beyond supporting wildlife like kingfishers and water voles, canals mitigate flooding, ensure water security for over 5 million people annually. On to business and tech news now. Social media giant Meta has announced changes in its content moderation policy. CEO Mark Zuckerberg has scrapped Meta's US fact-checking program. The content moderation changes apply to Instagram and Facebook. Meta will replace third-party fact-checking with user-written community notes, similar to those on Elon Musk's social media platform X. The Consumer Electronics Show 2025, the world's largest tech fair, opened in Las Vegas on January 7th. The event features innovations in artificial intelligence, gaming, TVs, and cars for global tech enthusiasts. CES is a major gathering for manufacturers, analysts, and suppliers in the US. It takes place days before President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration amid tariff pledges. US President-elect Donald Trump announced a $20 billion US investment. The money will be given by Emirati billionaire Hussein Sajwani. The funds will go toward building data centers in the Midwest and Sun Belt regions. The initial focus will be on states like Texas, Arizona, Ohio, and Michigan. Amazon's cloud computing division, Amazon Web Services, is planning to invest $11 billion in the U.S. state of Georgia. The money will be spent to boost cloud and artificial intelligence infrastructure. This new investment will create at least 550 high-skilled jobs. BMW is planning to redesign the dashboard of its new cars with its new
Hello everyone, and thanks so much for being with us. Today we've got the latest on Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's resignation as well as President Joe Biden's meeting with Venezuelan opposition.
It pitted the communist government of North Vietnam against South Vietnam. The North was supported by China and the Soviet Union, while the South was supported by the United States and other non-communist nations, including South Korea. Between 1964 and 1973, South Korea deployed around 320,000 troops to Vietnam, and they fought alongside the U.S. Army in exchange for U.S. aid to resuscitate their ailing economy. And the South Koreans were a brutal fighting force. It's estimated that they killed more than 41,000 enemy fighters and slaughtered 9,000 innocent Vietnamese. Yet Seoul has been adamant that there's no evidence of such atrocities. The Vietnamese government has never publicly pushed for an apology, so neither country has really addressed the wartime baggage.
Costs. The layoffs will focus on business roles and not impact the newsroom. The newspaper owned by Amazon founder Jeff Bezos faces growing financial losses. Like many media outlets, it struggles with the declining ad revenue and digital challenges. Luxury car maker Rolls-Royce will expand its UK's Goodwood factory to meet rising demand for custom cars. It plans to invest over $376 million to build more luxury vehicles for its ultra-rich clientele. The 120-year-old British brand has been owned by BMW since 2003. Rolls-Royce sold over 5,700 cars in 2024, its third highest annual total in history. Getty Images and Shutterstock are merging in a $3.7 billion deal. The new company will be called Getty Image Holdings. It will trade onto New York Stock Exchange under the ticker GETY. The merger aims to create a leading visual content company. Moving to sports, we start with cricket. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has called on global cricket body ICC to deliver on their own rules over women's rights in Afghanistan. This comes amid extensive demands in the UK calling for boycott of the England versus Afghanistan clash in the Champions Trophy next month over the repression of women's rights in Taliban-ruled nation. Star Indian bowler Jasprit Bumrah's participation in the Champions Trophy hangs in balance over injury concerns. Reports say that the injury incurred by Bumrah in the Border Gavaskar Trophy seems to be worse than previously thought. Bumrah is reportedly expected to make it to India's Champions Trophy squad, but his participation will be subject to his recovery. Pakistan has been fined 25% of their match fee for maintaining slow over rate during the second and final test against South Africa. The global cricket body ICC also deducted 5 World Test Championship points for the offence. Pakistan captain Shan Masood admitted to the offence and avoided a formal hearing. In football, Newcastle beat Arsenal 2-0 in the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. After leading 1-0 toward the farther end of first half, Newcastle's Anthony Gordon scored the winning goal in the 51st minute. With this win, Newcastle took massive step in making it to the Carabao Cup final. In football, American billionaire Elon Musk's father, Elon Musk, said that his son is interested to buy the iconic Premier League club Liverpool FC. Musk's father cited the family roots in Liverpool as reason behind his son's interest for the acquisition. In an interview, Elon Musk said, and I quote, "We are quite attached to Liverpool." Real Madrid's Vinicius Jr. was banned from 2 La Liga matches over a red carpet verdict. The winger was shown red card in Real Madrid's match against Valencia last Friday. The ban only applies to league fixtures, meaning the 24-year-old will be eligible to play in tomorrow's Supercopa semi-final. In badminton, ace Indian shuttler Lakshya Sen lost his Malaysia Open clash in straight games. The Paris Olympics semi-finalist went down against his opponent 14-21, 7-21. Sen committed several errors and was visibly out of form. Indian mixed doubles pair Tanisha Crasto and Dhruv Kapalia registered a win in the Malaysia Open. The duo beat a South Korean pair in straight games 21-13, 21-14. Tanisha and Dhruv will next face a Chinese mixed doubles pair in a round of 16 clash tomorrow. Meanwhile, a Malaysia Open match between India HS Pranoy and his Canadian opponent Brian Yang was forced to halt. It was due to a leaking stadium roof. The match could only resume after a gap of several hours. At the end of it, HS Pranoy prevailed over his Canadian opponent 21-12, 17-21, 21-15. Pranoy has now entered the round of 16 stage of the tournament. In Formula One, global sportswear brand Castor will be the new official team kit partner for Alpine. As part of the multi-year deal, Castor will also operate Alpine's online merchandise and accessories store. And finally, to the world of showbiz, WWE's flagship show Raw made its Netflix debut with a star-studded event. It featured Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, John Cena, Mark William Calloway, known by his stage name The Undertaker, and others in Los Angeles. The event also kicked off John Cena's farewell tour as the wrestling icon announced his plans to retire in 2025. Squid Game Season 2 is smashing records. It has clocked 126.2 million views in just 11 days. This is the fastest pace any Netflix series has ever witnessed. The sequel has quickly climbed to number 2 on Netflix's most popular non-English language series list. The Season 2 of Squid Games debuted on December 26th last year. Mindy Kaling has spoken out against the backlash surrounding Meghan Markle's Netflix series with Love Meghan. At an event, Kaling called the criticism unnecessary and a waste of time. The series, set to debut on January 15th, has drawn mixed reactions, with some accusing it of being out of touch with reality. Kaling, who filmed her segment while postpartum, remains steadfast in her support for Markle. Armie Hammer is stepping back into the spotlight. He has secured the lead role in upcoming vigilante thriller The Dark Knight. The film begins shooting in Croatia later this month. This marks a major comeback for the actor after his career stalled in 2021 due to misconduct allegations. Euphoria star Jacob Elordi is reportedly stepping into a lead role in Ridley Scott's upcoming thriller The Dog Stars. Based on Peter Heller's 2012 novel, this story unfolds in a post-apocalyptic world ravaged by catastrophic flu. Elordi will be replacing Paul Mescal, who has had to exit the project due to scheduling conflicts with Sam Mendes' Beatles anthology. DC Studios co-chief James Gunn has hinted at integrating Robert Pattinson's Batman into new DC universe. While Pattinson's version of The Dark Knight currently exists as Elseworld story outside the DCU, Gunn remains open to possibilities. Gunn stated, and I quote, "I want the freedom to tell Elseworld stories." Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster have seemingly confirmed their romance. This is after they were spotted holding hands during a date night in California. The pair, who reportedly grew close during their Broadway run, appeared stylish and happy in their first public outing following their recent separations from their spouses. Neither Jackman nor Foster has commented on the relationship. Disney Plus has ordered a pilot for TV adaptation of Holes. The show reimagines the 1998 novel that previously inspired a 2003 feature film. Set in a detention camp where teens dig mysterious holes under a ruthless warden. This series adds a fresh twist with a teenage girl as the protagonist. A$AP Rocky, Playboy Carti and Peso Pluma are set to headline Rolling Loud California 2025. The festival, celebrating its 10th anniversary, will take place in March at Hollywood Park in Inglewood. It will feature over 75 artists. This year's event promises carnival rides, immersive experiences and performances by stars like YG Quavo and Dom Kennedy. Tickets go on sale January 10th. And finally, the Directors of Guild of America has unveiled its nominations list for the television, commercials and documentary categories. Shows like Shogun, The Bear and The Penguin are competing neck to neck with 3 nominations each. The winners will be honored on February 8th in California. That's all for today. Thank you for joining us. I am Gushin Galan and we'll be right back here tomorrow. Stay informed and stay tuned to First.